A muggy day today, and it's only going to get hotter. The potential for record heat and why Thursday is now a WRAL weather alert day.
Buc-ee's breaks ground. A big day for fans of the mega gas station as it moves closer to opening in North Carolina. A look at the timeline for construction, years in the making. All tied up. The Canes win Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final to even the series. The excitement from Caniacs ahead of tomorrow's game at Lenovo Center. Dangerous heat is on the way, and that's why tomorrow is now a weather alert day. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Levigan. Thank you so much for joining us here. We have meteorologist Amy Wilmoth, who is right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to talk more about this. Amy, when Renee says dangerous, there's a reason for that.
There is. It's going to be a difficult day to cool down if you're going to be outside. So it's a major heat risk for pretty much the entire viewing area tomorrow. It's one of those days where you want to try to stay in the air conditioning if you can. Make sure the pets have a way to stay cool. Check on the elderly. All of those things that we have to do when we have this big heat. Now, a lot of people are going to be outside tomorrow for the Canes game, for the watch parties, or for the pre-game festivities. Please know that it is going to be very hot, especially surrounded by all of that concrete out at Lenovo Center. So please take it easy. This is the heat index tomorrow. So the gates open at 4 o'clock. The heat index could be as high as 106. And when you're in the concrete area, it could feel maybe 5 to 10 degrees hotter than that, just because the heat radiating off the surface as well. So this is some dangerous heat that we'll have tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And it's going to stay hot into the evening hours. So if you're maybe going to be outside for some of the watch parties, the heat is going to stick around. This is a live look at Raleigh. We actually have a little bit of cloud cover today. It's still warm. 85 is the current temperature. Dew points are in the upper 60s and low to mid 70s. So it does feel very sticky and very muggy out there. It's going to be hot today. So this is the start of some of our heat. 92 for the high in Raleigh and Durham today. 95 for the high in Fayetteville. And notice the lightning bolts there. A small chance for some storms today. We're watching this area of showers and thunderstorms. It looks to be moving in this direction, sort of east and southeast. So probably our northern counties have the best chance. We do have a severe risk for tomorrow and Friday. We'll take a look at that coming up in just a bit.
We want everyone to stay safe on game day tomorrow. The weather is going to be hot. The Carolina Hurricanes are hot as well on a hot streak. The Canes defeated Golden Knights 5-3, tying up the Stanley Cup Final.
And WRAL's Ali Kadabar is going to walk you through what's ahead for tomorrow night.
Fans are ready to welcome the Canes back home and cheer them on right here at Lenovo Center. They are 2 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup. We can see the 2 empty spaces. That is all that's left. Even after the watch party last night, Canes fans cheered right here as crews raised the 14th warning flag. Take a look. The chants didn't stop there. Fans poured out of Lenovo Center watch party beaming with pride. It was once again a nail-biting game. Caniacs say even though the Canes played in Vegas, the energy was still electric inside. Now they're hoping for another 2 wins to secure the Stanley Cup.
It was so much energy. We loved it. Oh my God, I can't wait to be back. Thursday night, right?
Game 5 watch parties are right here outside of Lenovo Center and also in downtown Raleigh at Red Hat Amphitheater. Game 5 is tomorrow at 8 o'clock at Lenovo Center. Reporting at Lenovo Center, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center this noon. The Carolina Hurricanes official social media amped up for the game tomorrow. 2 more, it says here on its page. But I want to show you this video here that says, "Let's get back to Raleigh," posted about 2 hours ago, where you can see Coach Rod Brindamore here really hyping the team up. Now, right now, it's about 9 a.m. in Las Vegas. The team is expected to take off in the next hour and head back to Raleigh at around 5 p.m. or 5:15 our time. Of course, WRAL will keep you updated the moment they touch down and prepare for the big game tomorrow with that momentum heading into Game 4.
Yes, they are preparing for a big game. And just like the past games, Lenovo Center will host a watch party, but Caniacs can also watch the game on the big screen in the heart of downtown Raleigh. Red Hat Amphitheater opens at 6:30 p.m. with the pregame show beginning at 7:30 p.m. Puck drops at 8. Now, this event is free and open to the public, but no chairs or outside refreshments are allowed. However, there will be on-site concessions and even food trucks. WRAL will have team coverage for Game 5 tomorrow at Lenovo Center, so be sure to stick with us for everything you need to know as the Canes try to bring home the Stanley Cup.
It is a massive moment in Mebane. Buc-ee's broke ground on its first location in North Carolina. The gas station superstore is still in its early stages, but things will ramp up from here. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is there now. And Sean, there was a lot of pushback and a lot of excitement for this to get started.
Yeah, that's right, Renee. A lot of excitement, but also a lot of anxiety. You see, that little beaver has something of a cult-like following. People will travel from miles away just to go to one. And here in Mebane, there have been concerns about what that could mean for traffic issues. But fans will soon be able to grab their beaver nuggets, jerky, brisket sandwiches, and more at this 74,000 square foot site. It'll have 120 gas pumps and also bringing in at least 200 full-time jobs to the area. That's going to bring an expected $1 million+ in annual tax revenue to boot. But if you've ever been to a Buc-ee's, you know it can be very busy. It's why the Department of Transportation is widening the road here to accommodate for the additional traffic. Plans they feel won't significantly impact overall traffic here. And that's straight from the beaver's mouth.
We will generate traffic. Most of the traffic we generate is going up and down the interstate anyway. Although people call us a destination, I mean, the reality is they're traveling up and down the interstate. So we're just asking them to exit, shop local, and then continue on their trip.
Now, today has been about 3 years in the making, and I know when you look around here, it doesn't look like much, but things are going to ramp up from here. The CEO of Buc-ee's that you just heard there says they expect to open their doors in November of 2027, and that road widening project should be finished just a few months before that. In Mebane, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Sean, thank you. New at noon, Garner police are investigating an attempted robbery and stabbing at a bus stop near Garner Road and Avery Street. This happened just before 11:30 last night. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from the scene. Officers tell us the victim was stabbed during a fight. The victim was taken to the hospital and we're told is expected to recover.
Well, a 17-year-old is dead after a shooting in Sanford, and new information from police reveals the order of events that unfolded before that boy died. Here's WRAL's Kirsten Clark.
Tire marks and this car fluid is all that is left of this scene. And now Sanford police say they are investigating the shooting death of a 17-year-old male. Sanford police responded here to Oak Branch Lane around 1:30 this morning for reports of a crash and a person being shot. When police arrived, they discovered several parked cars were wrecked, including a Lee County Sheriff's Office patrol car, as well as the 17-year-old with a gunshot wound. Police say the victim collided with the cars at a high speed, and they say he died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. As the investigation continues, we're still working to learn what led up to the shooting, if there are any suspects, and if any arrests have been made. We'll be sure to bring you those details as soon as we learn more from police. In Sanford, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Investigators say that a stolen car was involved in a crash early this morning near Durham. That happened on Virgil Road. Deputies say the car ended up off the road and onto someone's property. We are still trying to find more information about a suspect and charges.
The U.S. and Iran traded military strikes overnight. American officials say its strike was in retaliation to Iran's downing of a U.S. Army Apache helicopter. Iran then fired back against U.S. forces based in the Gulf. NBC's Richard Engel explains the new attacks raise concerns about the fragile ceasefire.
A U.S. official tells NBC News that Iran fired multiple missiles and drones toward U.S. military locations in the Middle East, targeting Jordan, Kuwait, and Bahrain. Most of the incoming fire being shot down. There were no reports of any casualties nor any major damage. And the Iranian strikes came just hours after the U.S. military targeted about 20 different locations inside Iran, including radar stations, missile defense systems, air defense systems. No reports of any casualties there, and significantly, the U.S. didn't target any Iranian cities or its leaders. So at least for now, it seems this latest flare-up and direct confrontation between the U.S. and Iran appears to have been contained. This all began after an American Army Apache helicopter was downed near the Strait of Hormuz, but the two crew members on board survived. They were recovered successfully by a sea drone, and President Trump has said that a red line for him to re-escalate the war in a major way, restart significant combat operations, would be if more American troops were killed. Richard Engel, NBC News, Jerusalem.
And President Trump has repeatedly insisted a peace deal was near. This morning, though, he posted that Iran has taken too long to negotiate and now will have to pay the price.
Breaking news here in the WRAL Live Center. President Trump just signed off on the Secure America Act in the last few seconds here. He just signed this ICE and Customs and Border Patrol bill that we've been covering for some time now. We know on Tuesday, the bill, which will provide $70 billion for immigration enforcement, was passed by the House on Tuesday, and President Trump again signing off on this. So the White House says that the bill will provide about $38 billion for immigration and customs enforcement, $26 billion for the Border Patrol, and another $5 billion to cover unforeseen costs. These are live cameras that you're looking at right now with reporters inside the Oval Office. So, of course, we're going to continue to listen to some of the reaction coming out of this news as the president, again, signing off on that ICE bill.
Significant update there. Thank you, Laura.
Next at noon, police chase through a race. See more of the moment. Investigators say a suspected driver under the influence risked hitting someone during the race.
Plus, child kicked in the stomach. More on the moment a robot performing went wrong and caught a lot of attention online.
Reverse the curse. Why a WWE star's effort to sour the Stanley Cup final for the Canes did not pay off last night.
Coming up next, see storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000. Sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Moderate heat today, and the heat and humidity will really tee off tomorrow as you're looking live at Pinehurst and watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Well, congressional investigators are grilling Bill Gates about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, and he's testifying behind closed doors before the House Oversight Committee. Lawmakers from both parties plan to question Gates about the extent of his relationship with the late convicted sex offender. I'm seeing a headline right now where he says that his relationship with him was a grave error. The voluntary interview follows the release of DOJ documents, and those revealed unverified allegations and philanthropic coordination between the two men. Gates briefly addressed reporters after arriving for his interview.
I hope my test.
Now, Gates has strongly denied any improper conduct and called the allegations false. Meanwhile, a man was sentenced to 35 years in prison for the deadly stabbing of someone at a track meet. Now, the lawyers for the defendant are set to appeal. Carmelo Anthony sobbed after jurors reached that verdict in less than 3 hours. Anthony says he stabbed Austin Metcalf in self-defense during a track meet in 2025. Both of them were 17 years old at the time. Prosecutors say that Anthony deliberately stabbed Metcalf during a confrontation.
And we don't need to be setting a precedent where if you come up and shove me, I can just pull a knife and stab you in the heart.
Nobody wins. You know, it's a loss on both sides.
Jurors could have also considered manslaughter, which carries a sentence of up to 20 years.
Entry denied. The U.S. will not allow a World Cup referee from Somalia to take part in this year's tournament. Omar Artan was greeted in his home country by large cheering crowds. Artan was set to make history as the first Somali to referee at the World Cup. Instead, U.S. Customs and Border Protection turned him away because of links to suspected members of terror organizations. However, Artan was vetted at the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, where he received a 3-month multiple entry visa so he could travel easily between the host nations. We're talking Mexico, the U.S., and Canada. It's important to note that Somalia is one of the 39 nations under President Trump's sweeping travel ban. One soccer star is getting a special honor just days before the start of the World Cup. A town in New Jersey just named a street after Lionel Messi. It's located a few miles from where the final match of this year's World Cup will be played. The owner of a local cafe, who happens to be from Argentina, came up with the idea. She feels a special connection with Messi as Argentinians living abroad. The soccer phenom has not ever visited her cafe, but she did prepare a meal for his birthday when he played in New Jersey during Copa America. The U.S. will play its first game Friday, taking on Paraguay at 9 p.m. Game 2 against Australia set for Friday the 19th, with Game 3 on June 25th. And you can catch all the action on Fox 50. World Cup games run through July 19th.
Well, we are getting our first look at dashcam video from a dangerous chase in Jacksonville, Florida, involving a DUI suspect. An officer was blocking traffic for an Ironman race last month, and that's when a vehicle drove through the race course. 2 officers chased that driver, and after trying to stop the vehicle a few times, an officer finally brought the chase to an end, but no injuries were reported. As for the driver, they're facing numerous charges in this case. And actually, this was his 3rd DUI arrest in the past 10 years. Organizers were forced to put a humanoid demonstration on hold after things didn't go quite as planned. So video shows that robot performing martial arts moves at a park. Well, wait for it. That's when we see the move, and there you go, child kicked in the stomach. That video quickly went viral online on social media with users, and according to the state-run media where this happened in China, the boy was not seriously injured, but his parents did report that case to the authorities. I think that's why a lot of people will say Terminator, and they don't care for AI.
People in parts of Indiana are cleaning up after flash flooding. Over 8 inches of rain turned streets into rivers and trapped people in homes and businesses. Chilling images show a pickup truck turned on its side by flash flood waters. Watch as the driver tumbles out of the car into the rushing water. Video also captured what appears to be a propane tank spewing gas as it swept away. Rescue crews used boats to reach people in distress. And people went house to house, ensuring that people were safe after the water receded. There are no reports of deaths. But as you can see, other parts of the country dealing with severe weather. We haven't had our share in quite a while, although we really need the rain. But tomorrow is when we're going to get chance for storms, but then also that heat and humidity. Amy.
Yeah, and the heat is why we issued the weather alert day for tomorrow. It's going to be some dangerous heat. We know a lot of people are going to be out.
It's a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a big day in our area, and a lot of people are going to be out in the peak heating hours of the afternoon when you really should try to stay inside. It's going to be so hot. The actual air temperature, 95 to 100. Make sure you are hydrating if you're headed out to the Canes tomorrow. We do have the chance for some isolated storms over the next couple of days. More on that in just a bit. This is a look at the temperatures for tomorrow, hour by hour. So it's going to be in the 90s for a good chunk of the day. 11 a.m. already at 90 degrees, likely hitting our high around 99 degrees at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it will feel even hotter than this. So very, very hot tomorrow. Dangerous heat. So really you want to try to stay in the shade or maybe even in the AC if you can. Take care of the pets. Check on the elderly as well. A live look at the gardens right now. It actually looks a little gray here in the gardens. We have a little bit of cloud cover around. No rain in our area from any of the clouds right now. 85 is the current temperature in Raleigh. It's 86 in Fayetteville. When you factor in the dew points, we're in the 60s and 70s right now. It feels like 90 degrees in the triangle. So the heat really starting today, and it's just going to get worse as we head into tomorrow. Highs in the low to mid 90s this afternoon with a couple of spotty showers and storms. So here's Futurecast, and notice how most of the energy is in the northern part of our viewing area, and there's not a lot to see, but we do expect at least some hit and miss showers and storms this afternoon and this evening. Tomorrow morning, maybe a stray shower. We had some of those earlier this morning, a couple of tiny showers. We might see that tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be hit and miss again. But any of the storms that do form tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening could produce some pretty strong gusty winds. We do have a level 1 severe threat, mainly in the northern part of our viewing area, and then a level 2 out of 5 severe threat for a good part of Virginia. The biggest threat tomorrow with any storms that do form would be some damaging winds and maybe some hail as well. Friday, we have the risk for severe storms. It's going to be hit and miss showers and storms that we get Friday. So not everybody gets the rain, about a 30% chance for some storms, but the entire viewing area in that level 1 out of 5 severe risk. And the biggest threat would be some damaging winds and some hail again to kick off the weekend. We're going to have to hold off for some better rain chances until next week. For the next few days, you'll be lucky to get any rain in your rain gauge. It's going to be pretty hit and miss. And the big story will be the heat. Dangerous heat tomorrow. That's why we issued the weather alert day. We could go in a heat advisory tomorrow and Friday Saturday as well. We're also getting close to some records. We'll talk more about that in the next half hour. It is hot through the weekend. Saturday and Sunday still in the mid to upper 90s. And then we have a front that arrives next week. It brings a better chance for some rain and some slightly cooler temperatures as we head into Tuesday.
That's what you call an oops all 90s forecast, with the exception of next Tuesday in the 80s there. All right, thanks, Amy. All right, so curse broken? Some Canes fans are convinced that a bizarre curse has finally been lifted. So tonight at 5:30, we are going to explain this curse and why many believe that it helped change Carolina's luck in their quest for the Cup.
Plus, hemp crackdown. A new proposal could make it illegal for anyone under 21 to buy hemp products in North Carolina. Tonight at 6, a closer look at what's in the bill, the penalties for breaking it, and what it could mean for consumers and businesses.
Well, the FDA is expanding a list of recalled pet food across nearly 24 states, including North Carolina. The product was also sold online. Officials say that certain freeze-dried and frozen products made by WRAL contain insufficient levels of critical nutrients. And over time, pets could develop life-threatening conditions. The brands are Steve's Real Food and Quest, and they involve several flavors and batch numbers.
Social Security funds may run out by the end of 2032. That's according to a report from Social Security trustees. It found that unless Congress makes some changes, seniors will see a 22% automatic cut to their monthly benefits. The report is recommending lawmakers address the projection in a timely manner. Issues weighing on Social Security include the tax cuts from the One Big Beautiful Bill, a declining birth rate, and reduced immigration. On this day in 1963, President John F. Kennedy signed the Equal Pay Act into law, making it illegal to pay men and women different wages for the same job. And at the time, women earned 59 cents for every dollar earned by men. The national gender wage gap in the U.S. currently sits at approximately 81 cents for every dollar earned by men.
We are talking about dangerous heat ahead. Tomorrow is going to be a WRAL weather alert day, and that's because of high heat and an isolated evening storm threat. So ahead at 12:30, meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is going to have our chance that you could see some evening storms.
Improving brain health, how good sleep supports your brain, and what a sleep specialist says can happen if you do not get enough. And here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
All right, so here's the deal. Tomorrow, we are expecting the heat index to be between 101 and 107 degrees with isolated severe risk. That is why it's going to be a WRAL weather alert day.
Yeah, the temperatures will be one thing, but then the feels like temperatures will be a whole other ballgame. WRAL's Amy Wilmoth is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with how long this danger persists.
It's going to stick around for a while, so plan through the weekend to have heat index values in the triple digits starting tomorrow. So weather alert day tomorrow. We issued this because of the dangerous heat and because we know just how many of you are going to be outside, whether it's before the Canes game, during the Canes game for some watch parties. We want everyone to stay safe and hydrated and try to keep cool. Take some of those cooling rags, perhaps, if you're going to be outside. It is going to be hot. So high temperatures and heat index tomorrow. 99 is the forecast high tomorrow in Raleigh. The heat index as high as 106. But if you're at Lenovo, you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of concrete, so it'll likely feel even hotter than that number. So some dangerous heat tomorrow. Right now we're in the 80s. We're going to eventually get into the 90s. It's warm. Today you can definitely feel the humidity with the dew points in the 60s and 70s. It's hot today as well. We'll climb into the low 90s. The heat index around 95. Perhaps this afternoon, a couple of spotty storms are possible, but most of that is going to be on our northern counties. So it is hot today. It is very hot tomorrow, 99 degrees. Still hot on Friday, 99 for the high temperature Friday. We're likely to break some records in the coming days. We'll take a look at the records versus our forecast highs in just a bit.
All right, sounds good, Amy. We'll see you in a bit. So the Carolina Hurricanes needed a win heading into Game 4 last night in Las Vegas, and they got it. It was all tied in the third period when Jordan Staal put the Canes up 4-3, and Nikolai Ehlers added an empty netter to seal that win 5-3. The Canes will head back to Raleigh with the series tied to apiece. And some Canes fans say that their effort to reverse the curse placed on the team by WWE star Danhausen actually paid off. The wrestling star has built kind of a reputation for cursing the teams there through personalized cameo videos. A Golden Knights fan reportedly paid Danhausen to curse the Canes before Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Well, the Hurricanes ultimately lost in double OT, but believers raised enough money to pay Danhausen to redirect it toward the Knights, the Golden Knights there. And there is no evidence, though, that any of this actually works. But the Stanley Cup Final is tied 2-2, and you can kind of, I guess, draw your own conclusion from it.
Maybe it was that. Maybe it was also because the Canes played some of their best hockey. Caniacs are unique among NHL fans. We tailgate before games. In today's Ask the Meteorologist, Chris Michaels explains why alcohol and tomorrow's dangerous heat will not mix well.
It seems like common sense, right, that alcohol use and high heat doesn't necessarily mix, but it's something you got to think about for tailgating ahead of Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon when the gates open, they'll be in the mid to upper 90s. Even by puck drop, temperatures will be near 90 degrees. Think about alcohol and its adverse effects. It increases the risk of heat stroke, heat exhaustion. It lowers sun exposure needed for sunburn to settle in, and it's a diuretic, which means that you could potentially have to use the restroom more on top of sweating. So you're just getting dehydrated in two different ways, at which point you feel the effects of alcohol a little bit more, at which point you might think, yeah, you could have another, and it just starts this negative feedback loop. So we want you guys having fun and being safe and getting into Lenovo Center feeling good. That's why it's all the more reason to stay hydrated. According to NASM, it takes about 16 cups a day for men, 12 cups of water for women for things to be at a healthy level. So in the meantime, not just water, but electrolytes. Pack some snacks like sports drinks and watermelons. We talk about the benefits of electrolytes, how it helps you stay rehydrated on these hot days. That's on WRAL.com right now. Just search Ask the Meteorologist.
Chris, thank you. WRAL has been following the Carolina Hurricanes' 2026 playoff run. Relive your favorite moments leading up to Game 5. Watch WRAL's Chris Lee, Pat Welter, and Brian Murphy break down all of the action on the WRAL YouTube channel. WRAL will have team coverage for Game 5 tomorrow at Lenovo Center. Be sure to stick with WRAL for everything you need to know as the Canes try to bring home the Stanley Cup.
And I'll tell you what, Renee, the Carolina Hurricanes aren't the only local team we're celebrating. The UNC baseball team is headed to the College World Series, and this is actually the 13th time the team is making the trip under head coach Scott Forbes. Carolina has now won 50 games in a single season for the first time since 2013. That's 13 years ago. The Heels also won a Super Regional after dropping Game 1 for the first time ever.
This is a unique business trip because a lot of times on business trips you may not exactly love where you're going to be, but we're going to love where we are in Omaha, Nebraska at the CWS, but we also know what we're going out there for. But I explained to them, the better you play, the more you win, the longer you get to enjoy where you're going to be. So we're going out there to try to win.
Let's get it. Carolina squares off against Ole Miss in its first game of the Men's College World Series. That's Friday night in Omaha.
Love that winning mindset. Well, breast cancer diagnosis for X-Men star Tyler Mane, how it was discovered, and why he is sharing his experience with that now.
Plus, getting benched. It could be a good thing at the World Cup. The special benches that they are putting in stadiums to help protect the players. And just a reminder, download the WRAL News app, and that way you can stay weather aware wherever you go. Turn on alerts, though, to get notified about severe weather in your location.
The Florida Holocaust Museum is offering free admission during Kanye West's upcoming shows. West is scheduled to play in Tampa on June 26th and 28th. The free admission to the museum is in response to the rapper's past anti-Semitic statements. Kanye West has apologized for those comments multiple times, including a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal that was published in January. Getting a good night's sleep does more than leave you feeling well rested. It also helps your brain function at its best. According to sleep experts, sleep helps restore every cell in every organ in your body, including the brain. Poor sleep can leave you feeling irritable and make it harder to think clearly or focus on daily tasks. And if being sleep deprived becomes a habit, it can impact memory and make problem solving more difficult. Over time, not getting enough rest may contribute to more serious health conditions like Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia.
X-Men actor Tyler Mane is speaking out about his breast cancer diagnosis. The 59-year-old is known to fans as Sabretooth from the X-Men films, and he also played Michael Myers from the Rob Zombie-directed versions of Halloween. And men account for actually 1% of breast cancer cases, and that makes the disease less likely to be detected until later stages, as physicians don't routinely look for it. Well, that's why Mane says that he decided to speak about this. He says doctors dismissed his concerns, but his wife pushed him to have that lump removed. And he admits it took some time to publicly reveal his diagnosis because it felt embarrassing at first. There's nothing to be embarrassed about that. If you think something's wrong, advocate for your health.
Beating the heat. Philadelphia Stadium is taking extra measures to keep soccer players safe during the World Cup. The role that these new benches will play.
Plus, it's like she never left. Serena Williams returns to the court to reclaim her crown. A look at her doubles performance.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we're staying on top of breaking news. There is an active police investigation at a Raleigh police station here off of Capitol Boulevard. You can see an area of the parking lot blocked off with some crime scene tape. We're hearing reports of a reported threat made to the substation here on Greens Dairy Road. Right now, we're working to get some confirmed information. But again, we are seeing just an increased presence of law enforcement officers, not related to those who are just stationed here at the station, but because of this investigation. Again, a reported threat made to this area. Right now, it looks like this is the main focal point, so no other businesses really impacted at this time. Again, working to get confirmed information, but this is happening at the police station on Greens Dairy Road, right off of Capitol Boulevard. As soon as we learn more, we will be sure to update you in this newscast and online.
The local news landscape is changing rapidly. Newspapers are disappearing, TV stations are consolidating, and public media is facing new challenges. Let's bring in now WRAL documentary investigator Kristen Severance, who has spent months examining what those changes mean for communities across North Carolina. She joins us now to talk about her brand new WRAL documentary premiering tomorrow night. And Kristen, I'm so glad that you are digging into something like this. This is certainly an issue. These industry changes, they have and will affect almost everyone, and this has far-reaching consequences.
Oh, you are absolutely right, Renee. You know, researchers call it a once-in-a-century transformation of the media industry, and we wanted to understand what's driving those changes and what's being lost along the way. Here is a short clip from our latest documentary, Left Uncovered. It's premiering tonight.
Looked at the changes to local TV news ownership.
The biggest TV company in the country is trying to buy one of its biggest competitors.
Which is pretty much a done deal.
They're all going to be owned by one guy in Texas.
Bigger is not better.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, there will be fewer people in communities covering local news.
Cuts to public media.
All of this is part of the president's effort to slash government spending.
$1 billion from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. That is what funds NPR and PBS.
It was as if someone had just wiped it out of your bank account. It was gone.
So what do? Do you shut down?
Never shut down.
Local news is the most important and trusted source of news.
Society would not be the same without local news.
So part of our job as journalists is to inform the public.
Among all this uncertainty and change, we found hope.
And just because a corporate owner gave up on it, I'm not.
Journalists fighting for the future.
When you start doing that, yell at me. Let me come out and take some pictures.
Somehow, some way, the community will wrangle their news organizations away from the clutches of the overlords on Wall Street.
Pushing back against the spread of these news deserts.
It's all about saving our form of government, and that's with a free press.
But we can't let the spirit, the desire, the need, the explanation of what it brings to a community die. We just can't.
This is Left Uncovered inside North Carolina's news deserts.
And again, that's just a very short clip of the documentary airing tonight. And of course, you know, as journalists, Renee, we care so much about this issue, but we really wanted viewers and the community to understand the impacts. You know, we're also, for people who don't know, a locally owned station, family owned. So I think we were in a really unique position to tell this story because we're not part of this huge conglomerate or company trying to buy other, you know, TV stations throughout the country. So I think we were the right people to tell this documentary, and we were able to tell all sides of it.
Well, and locally owned makes such a difference because, for example, I mean, we're one of the few stations that invests in in-depth journalism, and to have a documentary unit in order to explore these kinds of issues. And so what happens to communities, Kristen, if they don't get local news? I know you talked to researchers about this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a scary thought, but there is actual real implication. So researchers spent years looking at this. Voting goes down, taxes go up, corruption goes up. All of this has been studied. So it's not just, oh, this is sad. It's, oh, our community is worse off when local news goes away.
Okay, really looking forward to seeing this documentary. Kristen, thank you so much. You can watch Left Uncovered inside North Carolina's news deserts tonight at 7:30 on WRAL TV or wherever you stream WRAL. Chris.
Well, elite soccer players will face a very stiff opponent during the World Cup, and we're not talking about on the field. The World Cup kicks off just as potentially dangerous heat arrives. Cooling benches are being installed on the sidelines of Philadelphia's World Cup Stadium. That's where temperatures can average 79 degrees with no roof. Now, FIFA is also being proactive by scheduling mini games for cooler afternoons and evening hours. They've also added extra water breaks for players and referees. The first matches of the group stage are tomorrow. It all kicks off with Mexico versus South Africa at 3 p.m. The U.S. will take on its first opponent Friday, Paraguay. That's at 9 p.m. You can catch all the action on Fox 50, and the World Cup runs through July 19th. Now, when we're talking about things getting hot, the same is going to be true tomorrow. In fact, we're going to use the word dangerous when we're talking about heat. We have Well, as we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. We're talking about a 17-year-old who is dead after a shooting in Sanford. This happened earlier this morning at the Oak Branch Apartments, and investigators say that he then crashed into several parked cars after he was shot, including a Lee County Sheriff's deputy vehicle. The teenager died on the way to the hospital, but no arrests have been announced.
It's a massive moment in Mebane. Buc-ee's broke ground on its first location in North Carolina. People will soon be able to grab their beaver nuggets, jerky, brisket sandwiches, and more. This 74,000 square foot site will have 120 gas pumps and will bring at least 200 full-time jobs to the area. They're expecting to open this new site in November of next year.
Well, the Stanley Cup final is all tied up as the Carolina Hurricanes needed a win heading into Game 4 last night, and boom, they got it in Vegas, 5-3. Game 5 is tomorrow night at Lenovo Center with WRAL there, of course, with team coverage. Puck drop is at 8, so be sure to stick with us for everything you need to know as the Canes try to bring the Stanley Cup home.
Our pet of the day comes to us from Cat Angels Pet Adoptions. Tundra is a petite, multicolored beauty with an independent spirit. The smallest of her litter, she's a shy, strong-willed girl who likes to take her time getting comfortable. Her expressive eyes and ears make it easy to know exactly what she is thinking. Now, Tundra may be a perfect match. Contact catangelsnc.org. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And always, you can get your breaking news updates anytime with the WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.